Press play. Hello, it's the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. We are back. We are on a roll. We don't stop. I mean, hopefully, we'll get to 100 episodes this year. That is the goal. And 2,000 subscribers. We're at 1,800 right now, which was a big jump from the beginning of this year where we were about 1,000. So I want to thank you guys again for all the support, for the comments. You're really supporting the page and just trying to get it to grow and really get that community back, because I do miss that. I was talking to my friend Jordan about that just yesterday, or yeah, maybe the day before, but he mentioned how even in the WhatsApp groups, they're kind of dead. They don't communicate as much as they used to. Even in the worldwide expats, which a few of you listeners out there may know, it wasn't like it used to be. Like everybody's talking and going out and doing this, and it just seems like some cloud came over everybody's brains during COVID, and just nobody really got out of that slump. Although it seems like this happened a little even before COVID. COVID was just like, whatever, we're already home, we'll just continue home. Yeah, because he was saying, "Hey man, we got this WhatsApp group, and like we should really get people talking more." And I don't like it like that people come in that are just in for like a couple days, because they're just they're in Brazil just to travel, but they're not really expats, or they don't really want to immigrate. Let's get it. And I'm like, dude, if you want to do that, be my guest. Like, I've tried that before, and it's just people just are, even in the talking films group that Pete and I are in. It's not like it was before. It's like it's just um, people aren't as willing to share. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, guys, tonight we have Tracy on, and she's been on before. We love Tracy. She was actually the very, very, very first guest that we had on, speaking of COVID, way back when. It seems like a dream. It was so long ago. And we know that Tracy is from New York, but I always like to say New Jersey. She's a Jersey girl to me. Okay. And she has a translation business down here, and she's in Paraná. She's a dog person, which I love. She's got this small urban farm going. So we're talking food tonight. And she likes stinky old cars and trucks. So another connection. Me and her connect on this. She cooks a lot, guys. And she's my go-to person when I have like a food question. I just send her a picture. I love her for that. She writes for money, of course, and she gardens for food and knits for therapy and all that junk, right? And we're gonna be talking about those items, those food items that sometimes are hard to get. Where do you get them? How can you make them if you can't get them? That's the topic tonight. But just before we get there, I just want to say a few things that have happened here in Brazil in the last couple of weeks, because we do love the journal part of the Brazil Expat Journal. And one of them is a bit of what I was trying to say last week, but I cut out for the beginning of the show, and I'm not going to repeat it. But I will say this, that at the end of that, where Lula is calling for Brazil to really arm itself, and he's definitely talking about the United States. I did mention that, hey, Trump just kind of made this pronouncement where he wanted to make Brazilian gangs a terrorist organization, similar to what he's trying to do in other countries, to kind of just be able to lock these people up quick and boop, get them out of the USA. And I thought that Lula would like kind of fight that, but apparently Brazil and the US have announced this partnership to intercept weapons and drug trafficking. This is from Al Jazeera, and it goes at length how even Lula has already, look, President Lula's government said it has seized 1,100 illicit arms, around that number. Guys, this is kind of crazy that Brazil would actually agree to this, which is what's confusing about this relationship between Trump and Lula. And I know some of the viewers are worried about that. I have a good friend that's always sending me stuff about what's going on between US Brazil relations, because she is worried about that. Like, is there an invasion coming? Is there like a removal of people from power? And America is, putting up more Starbucks down here. It's a question to have. My opinion. I've already said it a few times. I don't think it's going to happen, but the influence is there, and it's just all over the place. And then Another thing I wanted to say is this, guys. This is really funny story. It's bizarre. So I get to school, and because you guys know I work at a school, and one of my students says to me, "Hey, Mr. Ray," because they all call me Mr. Ray. Uh, I found you on TikTok, and in my mind, I was like, okay, yeah, it's not That's exactly what it says. It's not difficult to find me because it's just my name. So I have a few students that follow me. Like all the staff have students that follow them because it's not hard to find us. So I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm not hard to find. Did you see me singing? And then she was like, no. And then she's like, no, 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 Mr. A, we found you on TikTok. Like, we found you on TikTok. I was like, what? And then I was like, wait, let me see what you mean. And as you can see here in this picture, actually, let me do it like that. That's a little bit better, right? If we make it, and there's Tracy and I. But let's stop right over here so you can see that a little bit better. Yeah, so there's me and Eduardo, okay, walking down Paulista. And we talked about that, I think, last week, Pete, or maybe a few weeks ago, where Paulista is closed to traffic on the weekends. And you can just walk down. And this was the day that I punched that crackhead that I was talking about the last day, the last podcast. That's exactly the same day. But you see, we're like here, we're on this guy's page, Thiago, sócia do Justin. I'm like, what the hell? So she shows me this video. So I had to go to TikTok. So hopefully we won't get too much lag here, guys. Let me see if you can see this. And hopefully I was sharing that, guys. So please,
No, no, you're not
all right,
sharing it.
please, guys, you got to help me with that because I cannot always see the screen as this is going on. But so yeah, Pete, that's your job. That's your official job. You got to be the Phil. You're not sharing, guys. That happens so much with me when I'm teaching English, where I'm sharing the screen, and then I'm talking, 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 and the students like, "Teacher, you're not sharing the screen." Happens all the time. But there's the picture I was talking about. But check out the video because the video is funnier. So she shows me this exact video here, and hopefully the sound is off so I don't get hit with any weird. There you go. Let's press play. And this is supposed to be the Justin Bieber lookalike trying to get attention on Paulista, and there's us walking. Look at my face. I didn't even notice that he's there. And then Eduardo was like, "What the hell? Look at that face he made." So then the rest of the video is that, and his face is so funny. In fact, that he was showing me. I don't know if I can open the comments or not, but people actually screenshotted his face and they're like, "That's how I walk through life most of the days." I mean, someone it's in these comments here. And yeah, and then somebody was like forcing people to look at him, and oh, there it is. Yeah, people were screenshotting his face. Like that's the look I have whenever I'm just walking. Look, they screenshotted the hell out of us. So, oh my god, yeah, I might go viral over this. They got It's like this one represents me. Yeah. So, guys, by the way, follow Eduardo. He's great. He has the channel Cluby Pop, or you can just find him at eduardo.bruno. Here, I share a few of his links all the time. He talks a lot about pop culture in Brazil. Okay. From his perspective, which is a great perspective. And sometimes we do some stuff together, which is really funny because we're very different. We're like the odd couple, but we just get together. Anyway, guys, it's time. You've all been waiting long enough for you to be introduced to Tracy again, reintroduced to Tracy again. And she's going to tell us what she's been up to. And we're going to talk food, guys. A lot of food. Go ahead, Tracy. What's up, my dear?
Hey, first of all, Mr. Ray, I have to say, on behalf of all English-speaking people, I want to thank you for having your students call you Mr. Ray and not Teacher Phil, for Pete's sake.
Oh,
Hmm.
goodness. Yeah, no, we made that a
Thank you
thing
for
for
having
sure.
standards. We
Yeah, I
appreciate it.
had a student call me master.
Ah,
Master!
Yeah.
You're like master and commander?
Yeah, no, just master. Sometimes my master.
no,
Oh,
what's funny
dear.
yeah, that's getting freaky. The one that I think is funny is when they just say Mister. Like I have a student, and I just don't correct her because I like her so much, and I think it's funny. Actually, it's the same one that showed me this video, and she always just says, "Hey, Mister, Mister," and
Oh,
I'm like,
dear.
I'm not even gonna correct her. I love her too much,
Mister, do you have a
and
cold?
her English is really good. Oh
Oh,
yeah, that was the thing. I guess I got outed today. Like I keep my private life very private, guys. I'm not. I'm one of those teachers that are against teachers that want to like overshare. It's like there's a boundary there. Like I'm a teacher, I'm friendly, the kids love me, I love them, but there's a boundary. I go home and I live my life. So now it's like I guess I'm probably gonna be out, and it's something that it's not that I don't say it, because even if it was in a heterosexual relationship, it's like it's none of your business. Like like a bunch of 13, 14 year olds. Like my love life is not your business. Um, but then she was like, "Oh, and teacher, who's this?" And I was like, because I'm very straightforward with them, as you can imagine. It's kind of how we connect. So I'm like, "Yeah, that's my boyfriend." So, well, if he couldn't tell, because we're kind of holding hands there, holding on. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, kids need people to talk to them like they're humans and like they have had a
exactly.
brain.
It's
And like,
exactly it is
welcome to
what it.
2026 or whatever. Get with the program.
I'm down with that. Get with the program. So tell me, Tracy,
Yes, sir.
2026, how has 2026 been for you as far as like just, because we're going to talk food, just like being able to get shit, because it's
Mm,
very expensive, man. These
yeah.
supermarkets are no joke.
Yeah. What's funny is when I talk to friends in the US, and I've got a good friend of mine lives in Wales, and I keep up with my old colleagues in Japan, and everybody's dealing with the same thing. Everyone is screaming about how much everything costs. And we complain a lot here about inflation in Brazil because like the vira-lata complex and stuff, but I think really nobody is getting out of this without any headaches.
Hmm.
And Brazil is actually, there was a really cool, I'll have to send you a link for, there's a super duper content creator that is like Visible Data, I think, Visible. They make really cool graphs out of data, and I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
Visual Capitalist is what it's called. If you haven't seen Visual Capitalist, I'll send you the links. It's awesome. They put out a graph these days about self-sufficiency in food, and on a scale of 0 to 7, countries in the world are ranked according to how much of their own food they can provide. And there are 7 different areas, and areas like protein and legumes and starches and I don't know what the other ones are, spices, I don't know, beer. But Brazil actually is 5. We're self-sufficient in 5 of the 7 categories. Japan is self-sufficient in 1. The US, I think, is 4. I don't know if it's Guyana or French Guiana is self-sufficient in everything, but like 25 people live in Guyana. So that's sort of, what does that actually mean? Oh, there you go. You just passed
Yeah.
it. It's to
Oh,
the left
sorry.
underneath the latest there. You see where it says mapped right
How
there.
much
Click on
people save mapped?
it.
Oh,
There
only
you go.
one country can feed itself fully.
That's
Okay, we
it.
see
That's
that.
the one I was talking about. So what I'm getting to in a very roundabout way is Brazil is actually kind of ahead of the game in a lot of
Hmm.
aspects. We are able to feed ourselves with, I believe, we're the world's largest export of proteins. We make a lot here, and it
Hmm.
puts us in a really good situation because if you aren't getting really good produce, you should be looking around where you live to find out where it's hiding, because we are in a really food wealthy place compared to other places I've lived in.
I agree with that.
If you're living in the middle of nowhere out in the country, it can be problematic to get access. But Brazil is a really, really rich, diverse. We have so much. We grow so much. We produce so much, and we've got a lot of diversity culturally, even within Brazil. So if you don't like corn, we grow rice. If you don't like rice, we grow wheat. We kind of go all over the place. So I think, in terms of tariffs and imported food stuff, we don't have such a huge impact, although it will, of course, like the price of diesel affects everything. So that is something that we're not going to be able to get away from. But it looks like we're going to have a good coffee harvest this year. And so
Hmm.
hopefully for us, that'll mean that it won't be $30. Oh,
Oh,
somebody said in the chat
yeah.
about Indians in Paraná. Oh, in Paraná, you can actually find some decent Indian food, but um, people don't like it very tasty here.
Mm.
People who make it are afraid. Paranaenses don't like chili, and so they make it really, really blah. If you like chili peppers and spicy stuff, you're definitely better off in the Northeast, I think, than you are here. Although it's changing and people are a little
It
more.
is changing a little bit. I see one Indian restaurant after another being open. Although, don't order that one that I told you about.
I
That
remember you
said
telling
on
me
our
about
food, they
them.
didn't even put curry on. They didn't have curry. They didn't have naan.
For
I'm like,
God's
what the hell?
sake.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what you're saying is very important, and it's something that I kind of
Please,
push
yeah.
myself. Is
Mm.
how Brazil is kind of self-sufficient, and it's a place that, if some of you like me, and it seems like I'm paranoid, it's because I am. I get paranoid with all this talk of war and this and that and the third, and like I would be out of places like that. Like I don't have as much of a desire to visit the US, Europe, or any place that might be involved in any of these conflicts
Mm.
anytime soon. And that's just me. Everybody has their different levels of, fear from this stuff. I get a little bit, it keeps me up at night sometimes. Um, and Brazil is just a place that's self-sufficient that can kind of get away from all this stuff, doesn't get dragged in as much because it's kind of like on its own, and it's kind of independent. Just it doesn't have to declare like Switzerland, or not. Is it Switzerland that says, we're neutral? It doesn't have to declare it because it's like Brazil. We're like all the way over here, self-sufficient country, a place that if you go to the right city, you can even grow your own food easily. Have a lot of access to good land for growth, and it's just. I like the country for that. And another thing that Tracy said, which is interesting, is about the abundance of stuff that you can get down here. And I always go crazy when I have, when I talk to Americans or Europeans, whatever, they're down here and they're like, oh, it's just rice and beans, just rice and beans. I'm like, what are you doing with your life? Like, Brazilian food is
Totally.
so diverse. Like, there's so much. Like, the one thing, yeah, we had Mario on about a month ago, a roll with Rio, and he was Haitian. And he was complaining about, lack of spice. But at the same time, he's like, Brazilians have the spice, they just don't use it. Like I made some chicken at this woman's house, and everybody was loving it. Like, oh my god, what are these spices? He's like, it's stuff from like the Nordeste store that I went to down the block. Like,
Totally.
yeah, like
Totally.
they don't. So when you're eating what you would consider bland Brazilian food, is because I don't know what it is about the Brazilian palate, especially down further south. They actually don't put a lot of spice, so it can get kind of boring. But they're all there. All this, I know Pete's all the time, chasing after his curry and chasing after all his stuff. You can get it, and it's not hard to get.
Absolutely. And we're going to go there today. I do have a silly story for you, Pete and Phil, both of you. How long have you all been here?
2008 for
11
me.
years for me, going on 12.
Okay. So Phil's been here 1 year less than me, and you've been here slightly less. I've been here, it's going to be 20 years next year.
Damn.
And when we first came here, we came to visit a bunch of my husband's family. My husband's from São Paulo, capital. And we weren't sure where we were going to move. We were kind of doing a scout around, and we went to visit family in Londrina, up in the country, the Caipiras. We went to visit people in Sao Paulo. We went up to Rio. We went down to Curitiba. We sort of went all over to see what the different cities were like and where we might be interested in living. And while we're there, like, getting to know everybody and staying in their houses and seeing what they eat. And I thought, oh yeah, we're screwed. I'm bringing spices with me. I'm bringing everything with me because these people didn't. I think one time I saw oregano and that was it. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to have to like pack all this stuff. And so when we first moved to Brazil, we were in Sao Paulo for the first couple of months while we did our paperwork. And I went to the Zona Cerealista that we'll talk about later. And I was so thrilled because at the time I was a vegan. I found peanut butter, I found soy protein, I found all these things in Sao Paulo. And I bought it all thinking, oh, we're going to move to Curitiba. We don't have anything. And I filled a car pretty much, only to find out that like we actually did have these things. It was just my family didn't know how to cook them.
Yeah.
Brazilians, there's a lot of diversity in terms of taste. As my daughter never fails to remind me, Brazilians are super curious people. And now that we have a lot more access to imported stuff, I think people are more interested in testing, trying out different things. I know here in Curitiba, there are a bunch of cooking schools, and I've noticed a couple in Sao Paulo when I drive through the Centro every once in a while. People
Yeah.
are interested. People are curious. That's why we're seeing restaurants pop up with Indian food, with Vietnamese food in Sao Paulo. It's a great thing, and there's a lot more access. And compared to 20 years ago, and I'm going to get out the old fart music now. We were buying it online. There was no paying with Pix. There was no finding anything. I had to try to I'd go home and fill a suitcase with food and bring it back. And for now,
boy.
maybe the last 6 or 7 years, I don't have to do that. I can think of
Tracy running around the city with suitcases filled.
dude, I have brought so much food back in my suitcase. It's preposterous. But I haven't had to do it in a while. Coming back from Italy is different because cheese, you kind of have to do that. But from the US now, the only thing I'll bring Marmite. Marmite is something I cannot find here. No way, no how, unfortunately. And
let me ask you, speaking of things you cannot find here, no way, no how, I'm going to cut in a little bit just because Anthony mentioned that he's been trying the Brussels, not root beer, but the Brussels sprouts.
Okay,
And
Brussels sprouts.
I swear I've seen them, but go ahead.
You have, probably. I've seen them up in Sao Paulo in the Sacolão we go to in Moca. And not in Moca, in Cajon. And not like any fancy place. I'm not talking about going to the Mercadão. I don't go to that Mercadão. I think I've seen them in one of the feiras. I'm not sure which. We stay in the Zona Leste when we're in Sao Paulo, so I'm not entirely sure. But Brussels. Oh, you know what? We went to Ceasa not so long ago. It might have been.
Ceasa will probably have it. Ceasa's got a little bit of everything.
But Ceasa is like going to the airport. You got to be insane.
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts are a winter food. Okay, they only grow in the cold, and so here in Brazil, they're growing in the Serra da Mantiqueira in Minas, where they're also getting right now, this time of year, they're getting fennel. They're getting stuff that wants to grow in the cold. So if you can find a place that's going to be getting in weird things like fennel, you're going to find Brussels sprouts. It's called couve de Bruxelas. And they're super expensive. I've seen them around here in Curitiba because we have local producers here. I actually planted them this year, but I don't have great hopes because they're a pain in the ass. They take a whole year to grow.
Yeah, I saw here there was a site here growing Brussels sprouts in São Paulo, and I imagine because of the cold, because Anthony's up in Salvador, so yeah, good luck finding Brussels sprouts in Salvador.
Salvador, maybe you can find somebody from São Paulo to ship them to you, with dry ice in them or something, because up there, I really doubt it.
Exactly, and that's a lot of effort to go to get those Brussels sprouts. You got to really love those Brussels sprouts. They're gonna get them shipped in FedEx.
No, I do love me some sprouts. I can totally hear it. And I feel the same way about them. When I'm in the US, I eat Brussels sprouts like crazy because here they're really expensive.
Oh boy.
But I want to go back because I've been here for 20 years. Before that, I lived in Japan. So I know a little bit about missing food. And I was brought up in a family that didn't really cook things that were lovely. So I don't come from this tradition. I didn't know how to cook until we moved here, because I wanted to eat. And so if I wanted to eat, I had to cook. It was kind of like that. So if a dinosaur like me can learn how to cook, anybody can learn how to cook. But the whole issue is, that old thing about time is money. That's cooking. So anything you're going to do, things cost money or they cost your time. So today was a real crap day, a long day, a real hard day. And then I had to go make dinner because here, unfortunately, there's not really anything that's worth spending money to order in. I don't know. We don't order in because I'm a real pain in the butt about food. So then I got to spend 2 hours making dinner, but I make good stuff. So it's worth it, but it takes time. It takes effort. You got to shop and you got to kind of keep your eyes open for what am I going to cook? What do I feel like eating? What do I want to buy? What's in season? It all takes effort.
It takes effort, and you got to get in the rhythm. And I was just talking to Eduardo about this today because we were like, man, it's I was like, I'm going to have Tracy on tonight, and we're going to try to get some ideas from her about just making some different stuff because we've been eating a lot of, what's that? Carne moída and chicken, the ground beef and chicken. So we're trying to change it up a little bit. I have gotten into a salad phase before, so I might bring my salad phase back. But yeah, it takes effort, guys. It reminds me of this. There's this really funny Aretha Franklin interview where the guy asked her, she's the queen of soul. So he's like, what's the thing that makes you most stressed, in your whole busy life? And she's like, figuring out what I got to make for dinner.
Amen. I agree.
And he looks at her, he's like, you make your own dinner? He's like, yeah, I cook for myself. Of course I make my own food. And just figuring out what to make for dinner every night is so much brain work. So,
Absolutely.
so we'll talk a little bit about that. We're getting warmed up here. And by the way, thank everybody that's on tonight. We got a lot of people on the live chat. Guys, feel free to comment. Feel free to ask questions. If you're new to Brazil, it can feel a little bit like, oh my God, there's no food here. There's nothing to eat. And depending on where you are, like Rio de Janeiro, maybe you won't have as many good options to eat or they'll be very expensive. But if you end up in a city like Sao Paulo, man, it's a feast down here. Like, woof, there's so much. And I'm imagining Curitiba is also a city that has a lot of, restaurants coming up and a little bit more, explores a little bit more food. But then if you start going to the Northeast, guys, it's flavor upon flavor upon flavor. And you just, you can dive into all of that. So we're here to talk that. Anthony says, we do have them, but you got to catch them when they come in. It's just one market that I know that carries them. I see. Yeah, you got to go to these high-end markets. But anyway,
Anthony, can I give a tip to Anthony? If you have
of
a market
course.
that you know of that carries them and you want to know, bring that guy some brownies. I'm not above bribing people. If you become the brownie guy, when the Brussels sprouts come in, they'll be like, hey, did somebody call the brownie guy?
Oh man, brownies.
That's a thought.
Listen, I agree with Tracy 100% because I was just talking about like I got the dude that makes brownies. They're like the best brownies. If you can find a good brownie guy, you're willing to do anything. Just give me these brownies. So I definitely am for that. There. I got 2 brownie people. I got one close to where I work, and I got one here in Butantan that are like, anytime, anywhere, just give me these brownies. But anyway, because those, speaking of things that have changed, I remember when there were not any good brownies in Brazil, and now they kind of sort. It's not exactly the same as like a U.S. brownie, but they kind of sort of got it better, and to the point where I like these. It's a little Brazilianized, but good. What's good in talking? I can't read that. What's good in taking the Toscana de Frango out of the casing and using it as ground beef? What's good is taking the Toscana de Frango out of the casing and using it as.
I just did that yesterday with a whole bunch of veggies, and I put it over couscous, and I sent the picture to Phil. Now,
yeah. And speaking of the pictures, guys, if you see,
except it wasn't chicken, mine was pork. But the picture right on the left on the plate, there's a little plate with like little rays coming out. That's exactly what that was. It was a sausage I took out of the case, fried up with all the veggies that were sad, and I made a couscous with manteiga, and I threw that over it. Awesome.
That looks delicious. But anyway, guys, what I want to ask. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask you here. I'm going to throw something in here so that they can see where I'm going with this, and you can open it up on your screen. But I am not able to get the comments going for some reason. It doesn't want to connect to my YouTube, so I'm going to throw it in the private chat. Does that work for you?
No, that's even better. Let me see. I just got to get in there.
Okay.
Private chat, panelinha. Okay, yeah, I have that one open. Panelinha. All right, here we go.
I'm sorry. Please continue with what you were doing.
No, what I wanted to get into is, this first off is what are some easy kind of recipes for people that are trying to get into a Brazilian rhythm of cooking at home and making some kind of basic Brazilian dishes. And what's a good thing? So it's good you send me panelinha because there's a lot of recipes on this site. But then, just start getting into some stuff that people kind of do miss and where they can find them, like specialty stores where we can find this, that, and the third. But let's start here. Let's start here. All right. Easy things for people to make and where to find, those recipes. Like there's a good site right here, Panelinha.
Okay, so I should probably say that I'm a real cheapo. I try to spend as little money as possible. And you'll see we're scrolling right down and it says Abril, economize na feira. Because the feira could be, if you live in a city that has feiras, good for you. Some people, your cities don't have feiras, that's fine. But what do they sell in the feiras? They sell ads. In the feiras, they sell what's seasonal. And so whatever's cheap and on sale in the feira is going to be what's they got a good deal on, and they're bringing it, and it's going to be cheap. Brussels sprouts are something really limited, really expensive, tiny market. But like if you go to the feira and you see that right now this time of year, persimmons are just starting to come in. I'm starting to see citrus come in. Mm-hmm. Those things are just like really starting to roll. And so, they're fresh, they're local, and they're usually going to be cheap. So this site, Panelinha, tells you what's in season at this time of year. And so you can see abobrinha and banana and different things. And if you click on these veggies or fruits or whatever, she's got
Yeah.
recipes that are made out of these things. So if you're cooking things that are in
Eggplants. I
season,
love
it's going to be
eggplants.
cheaper and it's going to be fresher, and it's a good place to start. I think she had a TV show during the day. I'm not sure.
Now, is this site available in English? Is there like an automatic translation for this one or no?
Nowadays, your browser can translate it for you.
Yeah, pretty
There is
sure.
not an English version, but you can use your
Yeah, I
browser,
think
any
there's a
browser.
thing here. Usually it does. Yeah, guys, because it is, unless you want to train your Portuguese, which would be nice.
If you're
But
here,
yeah,
you may
then
as well,
you
right?
get your ingredients down there, or just copy and paste it into ChatGPT or something. But
Mm-hmm.
this is a really good site, guys, to get a lot of good ideas for, you know, quick and easy recipes. It's nothing fancy, right?
No. I mean, she can get fancy, but it's also a lot of really standard Brazilian stuff that you see. I mean, like how to make beans, how to make a caipirinha, how to make brigadeiros, things that you
Look
see
at this.
everywhere. She has versions of these things, and she also has like cheap and in season thingies too. You know.
We've been making a lot of caipirinhas at home lately, and
Mm-hmm.
they're so good. And each time they get a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely down for that. That's a great tip. Oh, that's a
But
really great tip.
definitely check her out because especially for seasonal stuff, like I said, I'm always thinking about money. And so to know like what's on sale, if I can get something really, really cheap, great. But like I need to use it. So like, pumpkins are really, really cheap and I buy 5 kilos of pumpkins, but I got to cook the pumpkins. So I need to know what to make with it. So this
Tracy,
is a really good
let me
site.
ask you. Let me ask you a little question, Tracy. Do you know what
Mhm.
this is?
The Instant Pot.
Yeah, Instapot or just a panela de pressão. If you want to just go old school, you can get one of these old ones. And why do
I
I bring this
have the
up?
one all the way on your left is the one that I've got.
Oh, cool. So why am I bringing this up? Because we're talking about recipes and stuff like that. And guys, you definitely need to buy a pressure cooker if you're gonna cook
Oh,
beans
hell
in Brazil.
yes.
They don't
Absolutely.
do canned food down here like in the US. Okay, so you really, and you got to snap out of that. I think, and even I had a little bit of that, Tracy. I think you can't get away from that, where you think, okay, I'm gonna go to another country and I just expect to get the same things. Like I'm gonna walk in the supermarket and they're all gonna have American products because America is everywhere. It's like, no, you're in a different country, you're not gonna find everything.
Yeah, the
Um,
brainwashing is really good when you grow up
yes.
American. So,
Yes, no, yes, especially American. I think maybe Europeans aren't as brainwashed, but Americans
right.
definitely, you think you are. No, you don't think you are. You know you are the
You've
center
been
of the
educated
universe.
to think you are the whole time. So it's only
Exactly.
natural and it's understandable. But also,
Exactly.
Americans tend to have this irrational fear of the pressure cooker. I know my mother is horrified that I use a pressure cooker
I
because
get
she
it.
remembers when she was a girl, her aunt used one and it exploded and it like blew a hole in the roof or whatever. Okay.
That's like a very big urban legend down here. Although I've never really seen evidence. I mean, I guess it
It
might have happened
happens.
once.
It happens, but like if you look at these pressure cookers, you see every little one, every single one has a little like nipple kind of thing on the top, and that's
Mm-hmm.
your pressure valve.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the weight on the top of the pot fails or gets clogged or gets stuck or whatever for some reason craps out, you've got this escape valve on the side that will blow instead of the lid blowing off and making a bomb in your kitchen. So just make
Exactly.
sure, just like your car, you check the tires, you check everything and make sure it works. Check your pressure cooker before you use it, just like you would check your stove before you turn it on. It's not a big deal. If everybody here, think India, billions of people are using pressure cookers in India
As we speak, and all
as
of
we
India has
speak.
not. Yes.
And
By
like
the
a lot
way,
of people are
Tracy.
using the electric pot, the electric
Right.
instant pot. I don't have one. I like my old school one, and pretty much grew up in Japan, so I use a rice cooker for a lot of things.
I
So
got
I
you.
don't need another machine.
Now look at this, Tracy.
Hmm.
Mentioning this little valve here, guys.
Mhm.
It's a smaller red one. It brings back a memory of a childhood memory. Just unlocked the memory, and it's
Uh-oh.
because my mom used to do pressure cooker, and I was kind of scared of it too. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared of that thing. And one day, I thought she told me like, watch the fucking pot. That's another thing. Gave me a lot of anxiety because she'd be like, watch the pot, because you gotta kind of watch it every once in a while, so it doesn't. And
Like,
that
what are you
thing.
gonna do? If it starts blowing up, what are you gonna do?
Exactly. It was just a weird request. But anyway, but I did notice, I think it's when that thing starts beep, 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 beep. That little thing started going up and down, and I started freaking out. I'm
Yes.
like, oh my God, this thing's gonna blow. And it seems like it just wants to release the pressure. So what did I do? Because I'm a very intelligent young
Oh
man. I
no,
get a
don't.
knife and I
Oh no.
start fidgeting with it because I'm like, okay, it seems like it just wants to like release a little bit, go up. And then I yank, 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 and pow! And the thing just
Oh
a
dear.
geyser in my yeah,
Mistakes were made.
Phil's little butt was very red for
I
a few
imagine.
days. Back when that was allowed, back when I kept kids in order, it definitely kept my ass in order. I'll tell you that much. But
Yeah.
yes, I definitely got
Yeah.
a
So
spanking off for
don't
that.
touch the thing. Make
Don't do
sure
that.
don't do that.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Yeah, the little valve will pop up just like the what is that thing on the chicken when you roast the chicken and a little timer pops up? It looks just like
Oh
that.
yes, yeah,
And it
exactly.
shows you that you have pressure in the pot. So like, don't you have pressure, so maybe don't try to take the lid off because it'll blow off.
It will definitely. It's like a Coke bottle, guys, but like 10 times.
Yeah.
Man, it's like crazy when you just see your life flash before you. Because like all I could do, like I just froze as I saw this geyser coming up. So it's just, I can envision myself just in the kitchen as like I think I was like 10 or 11, just like frozen. As I'm like, my mom's gonna kill me. Oh, I'm dead already. Well, my God, Pete's been off the stage all this time. I'm sorry, Pete. I
Yeah,
only noticed
right.
this now. I don't know, but now he's back. Sorry about that, Pete. Sorry.
No worries.
And I don't have anything open. I don't have WhatsApp or anything because I'm trying to save bandwidth here. But I will give Vivo credit, man. I feel that the internet is way better, not that much lag. Net is going to get my modem this Saturday. So, we always try to recommend good stuff for you guys. And I used to always be a net guy, Tracy, like forever since I came to Brazil. I've had net, and I've always said this is such a great service. It's the best, never did. And then as soon as Claro bought them out, it started on this downhill path, and even a cancel. It took me 3 times calling these guys for me to be able to cancel. They would always hang up on me, like at the last step, like the
Yeah.
last button. And then the other guy was like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And I'm like, you motherfucker, I know you can hear. This is the second time I started cursing. That didn't work out. And then the third time was the charm. So they're going to pick up this modem. So I do not recommend Net Claro unless it's the only option you have. It's not like horrendous. You can use it, but it's been lagging too much. It's really slow, especially at night. So Vivo, so far, so good. We shall see. We shall see. But Tracy, is there like another site where you can recommend for like people to get like quick recipes or anything like that?
Okay, so I've got a couple others for that. Panelinha is just for it's a particularly Brazilian resource.
Yes.
I sent you a couple other recipes for making maybe something for the foreign palate for somebody who's coming here from the US, for example, who's like, I really want to make lasagna, and lasagna maybe the way that I'm used to eating it, or I want to make lo mein. I want to make something like that from home. One site. Let's get you. Where are you?
Tell me what it is because I might have it open already.
Recipe Tin Eats. Recipe Tin Eats. She
Recipe
is
Tin Eats.
a
I got
Japanese
it.
born cook who grew up in Australia. And she has all sorts of different stuff. Some of it's Asian, but some of it's not. Everything from like main dishes to cookies and cakes and things like that. She uses normal ingredients that are easy to find in the supermarket, relatively, even for us here. And I use her stuff pretty often. And the thing with when you're making recipes for foreign type food when you're living outside the country is you don't want to use a website that's going to have a lot of packaged things or mixes or things that come in a box, because obviously you can get like a cake mix in a box here in Brazil, or I don't know, maybe it exists. I've never looked for it. But you're not going to be using like ranch dressing powder or some sort of thing like that. You kind of really need to sort things out yourself. And she's good for that. Everything here is made from scratch from normal ingredients. So I can recommend that really highly. That's an awesome site.
That's such a great tip, by the way, because, some of us are used to cooking in the US, like I was. I used to cook a lot in the US, but it's a lot of packaged stuff, you just kind of more mixing than cooking, but, there's some cooking involved in there. And then when you get to Brazil, you realize, oh, shit, I can't just buy the whatever mix, the blank mix, it's like I actually have to make the mix. And it was a good lesson for me though. Like I actually enjoy being in the kitchen and making something. It's just like what Tracy said. It's just so much work,
It's a
you
lot of
know?
work, and the learning curve is really high because you got, let's
Yes.
see, you've always made corn muffins from a box, right? From a mix.
Yes.
And then you
Yeah.
want to make corn muffins and you're like, shit, where the hell do I start? And then it's overwhelming because if you go to the store, there's 26 different kinds of corn business here. And it's hard to tell
Hmm.
which one do I use. And like, it's the good thing about this is nowadays with websites and all these things, you can actually find good results. My suggestion, do not use AI. Click through to the blog, click through to the site
Hmm.
so that the person who created it actually gets credit for those clicks. Also, the AI often is not summarizing recipes completely. They're doing things in like a weird mixy way. And so
I
you have half of
agree.
one recipe and half of another. Click through. If you see a nice picture, click through and go to that website and see, see the process, see what the list of ingredients is, and go all the way through and look at the comments. Always look at the comments because sometimes they're like, oh, so I made a mistake and it's a tablespoon of salt instead of a teaspoon. You go, oh, crap. I wish I knew that before. So
Yeah.
like go
Oh,
through
I'm
the
sorry.
whole site, you can read it and you know all this stuff before you start.
Exactly. And you might have to study up a little bit on the different measurements, because not everything's measured the same. Remember, Brazil uses the metric system, but even like all the, teaspoon, it's all different down here. So,
Well, when I started to cook here, I
yeah.
learned, I went to the library, the paper
Hmm.
library here, and I got out an old cookbook because I figured, oh, I'll just like see what people traditionally make here. And
Hmm.
the measurements were pires, which is like the saucer
Oh,
for
please. I remember those.
I
My
was like,
mom used
what
to
the
have those old
fuck? How am
cookbooks.
I gonna make bread with a pires of flour? Like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. That not recommended, not recommended. But like, get yourself a big spoon and a little spoon. Even if you don't have like a real measuring cup, that's fine. Just be consistent with it. If you have it calls for a cup of water and 3 cups of flour, use the same cup. It's all pretty much the same. And you can obviously use your brain, Google things. How many milliliters is a cup? And then you find out that like the cup from requeijão or a cup from tomato paste or something like that is whatever volume. And use that. You don't have to go buy stuff. You can use what you got around.
I got you. And what I do sometimes, because I'm always in this battle with AI. Like I love it and hate it at the same time. But how it helps me when it comes to recipes, and it's exactly what Tracy said. Like I'll just ask it, like, give me, 5 really popular sites in Brazil that people use for recipes. Whatever general
Mhm.
question, and you'll
Mhm.
get those, and then you click on those sites. Actually
Go
use,
through, give
you
the
know,
person your clicks, give them
yeah,
reviews.
yeah, go in there
Good
and
for them.
and get it. Look, Tracy, just because you said this, I brought, back some memories.
Jesus.
Misture 2 xícaras de farinha de trigo. Yes.
That's at least it's not pires. At least they're talking
Oh,
about
Pires.
xícaras like
Oh,
normal
xícaras.
people.
Yes.
Oh, go back, go back. Cuidado, minha senhora. Você viu isso?
Oh no, but you know what it is? It's because it's Union. Look at this. It's an
Obviously, I
ad for
won't need to pay
Union.
for that
They're
cookbook,
like,
eh?
don't give them any sugar. Give them, look, every recipe is like, use
Also,
Union
and they put the
sugar.
address of these poor people in the cookbook.
Oh,
Look at that.
cool.
Just right up from where you were. There's the
Yeah, yeah,
Higienópolis.
exactly.
Meu
This
Deus.
is old school. My mom used to have old things like this, guys, to
Wow.
make her little amazing things in the kitchen. But anyway, guys, um, not difficult to cook in Brazil. It's just you have to like schedule around it. Pete, you cook a lot here, though, don't you?
Well, I try and avoid it. What I do
Yeah.
is yeah, I mean, I cook because I can't afford to eat out every night, obviously.
Hmm.
Who can? But I don't really like doing it. And I have a lot of night classes, so it's not
Hmm.
really convenient for me to be cooking every night.
Yeah, I get
So
you.
usually what I do is I make like a big batch of one thing, and then I eat that for like 4 or 5 days.
I got you. Well, that's not a bad idea, especially if you're busy down here. Just get everything pre-made. Just prep, prep, prep. I'm a terrible prepper, though. I have
There's
never
a
been.
lot of things you can do that with: soups, pasta sauce,
Ah, yeah.
curries, stir
Oh,
fries.
Pete hit one here now, Tracy, that is very popular to make, and it's stews. We make a lot of stews here at home, especially
Yeah,
now that it's winter time. Winter's coming in.
Amen.
Winters in Brazil, boy.
Winter
you're
in Sao
south,
Paulo. What?
yeah.
How many degrees is it right this very minute for you?
Well, now I don't know. Let me see here. I don't
It's
know.
probably like above 20.
19,
Yeah, I gotta see. It's not that cold
19
though.
here.
19, 19
Yeah.
Celsius. And what is that in Fahrenheit? Because I have no idea.
Um,
I've been
But
here
this
for
isn't
so long,
really
guys.
winter though.
73. This is 73 Fahrenheit.
This
Uh,
isn't really
make that
winter
hard
though. This
foods
is
for you.
fall.
Guys, I can't get it. I just can't figure it out when it comes to these Celsius because it just seems like it's such a small range of numbers to have such a wide range of like temperature feelings, you know? And it's like I can go from 30 to 90 and it's like a very long range there because there's a lot to go from cold to really hot. But you're like from 18 to 28. Like it's 10 numbers. And it's like it's not 10 number hot. Sorry, I'm ranting.
Think
Um
about it as simplified. It's simplified.
Oh,
So,
and
Pete,
so
what
19 is
are
hot
these
or cold?
big batch things you're making? You said soup. What's the last big batch that you made that you really liked?
Oh, uh,
Of soup.
of soup.
Mm.
I made like a beet soup last year that was amazing. I was trying to copy that Russian dish, borscht, I believe it's called. And I kind of almost sort of got it. Like it was the Phil version of it, but it tasted good. We were eating that for like a good 2, 3 days. That was
Borscht is
really good.
awesome.
Yes, yes. And you have all the ingredients here, guys. If you go to the Feta, by the way, I have a nice video of the Feta here in Sao Paulo. So they're all over the place. You can watch that and see it. Um, in Tracy. So stews are great to make. You got a lot of options. But what if you just want to just go to the store and get some stuff? Where are some good stores? If you don't want to go to the Fedas, you're not like trying to walk around the street all crazy early in the morning. You just want to go to a nice supermarket
Right,
and find
exactly.
something in a
Fieras
box.
are not for everybody. Not everybody has the time to spend all of their entire working day running around buying food. So that's problematic. And I don't go to
Exactly.
the feiras also because here in Curitiba the feiras are crap. São Paulo is where it's at for feiras, unfortunately. But
Yes.
for us, the feiras are really pretty food, but it's really expensive. So we have local fruit and veggie places that have specials during the week that luckily I make my own schedule and I can go and do my shopping when nobody else is in the store, which is awesome. Um, Depending on where you are, my suggestion is like community. All right, like talk to people you know, find out where they do their shopping, ask around, ask where people get fruit and veggies. Like for me, fruit and veggies is the core of what we eat. Fruit and veggies, and then the butcher, and those are the two places that I know when we go anywhere. That's the first thing I do is find these places. So ask around, find out where people are buying fruit, where they bring something funky for lunch. Hey, where'd you buy that? Check it out because often these big supermarkets are crap. I find that the meat area smells kind of funky. The veggies look
Mm,
sad. They're all packaged up in plastic. Ask around and see if you can find a place where the veggies are sold in bins, like in an open sort of
mhm.
area. The things are maybe cared for a little bit better, a little cleaner, and often the prices are better and they're buying seasonal stuff. So I would definitely say look around for that. And
Yeah. And oh,
obviously
sorry.
you gotta work with what you got. You can't wish for something that you don't have. But ask around because often you might find that there are other options out there for you.
Yeah, I mean, some good places to get like some fresh food here, like when you go to the greengrocers, if you want to, like up in Jersey, used to go there. Uh,
Mhm,
Here they call them orchifruchis. Not every
mhm.
orchifruchi is the same. They can be a little bit more expensive, but you will find good stuff there. And then the other one that's really nice is the sacolón, but that's the one where you really got to ask because there are sacolóns that are wonderful, and there's sacolóns that are like, "Ooh, that food looks like it's been sitting there for a while." But it's like almost like the next step to like before going to a feira, you go to in sacolon literally means just a big bag. You're just gonna take your big bag and just fill it up with a lot of veggies, a lot of fresh fruit. Go ahead, Tracy. Sorry.
I'm glad you pulled up the sacolón because sacolón in Curitiba, in Maringá, and in some other places are actually a public service where through
Mm.
the city, the city has partnerships with producers and they have a store where the price is a set price by the kilo. And
Oh,
so
cool.
by law here in Curitiba, these sacolões da família is what they're called, and they have to offer everything at a set price that's set by the city and they're allowed to have a certain number of exceptions. Like if I don't know, potatoes are really expensive, they're allowed to potatoes can be above that set price. They're allowed, I think it's like 7 products are allowed to be above that standard price, but everything else has to be that price or lower. And
Oh,
it's this
cool.
idea that it's a subsidy to make fruits and veggies affordable to everybody. In São Paulo, that's not the case. There are sacolões in São Paulo that I've been to, but they don't have the set price. It's basically just hortifruti and it's called sacolão.
Yeah. Here,
I
what
don't,
they have is like, I guess, a way to get to
yeah,
that
the
of
restaurante
allowing people to
popular
eat
is,
is the bom prato, which is
yeah.
really free or almost free food. It's like 2 reais, and you can
Yeah,
get
I
bom
think
prato.
my mother-in-law ends up at those every once in a while. Here, I believe they're 3. You have to have a card. I don't know what it's like in
Mhm.
other places. You have to have some sort of registration that you can, you have to be eligible
Yeah.
for it. No?
Yeah, here they got the Programa Bom Prato. I know I've eaten that one before, like back in the day when we used to just have to run around the city teaching English. And I ate one at one in Lapa, actually, a really nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't remember. I know it was like 6 reais. It was really cheap. But the food was
Yeah,
good, but I don't. I
yeah.
didn't see that I had to like show a card or anything, or maybe it was a different price if you have the card. It's
Mm.
one. I don't know, guys, but you can find these around. But
Yeah,
this is
check them
more
out.
for
Check them out.
if you're running around and you really need food. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody, right? That's you just
Yeah, you've
you
got to
got
look for
no
other options in
options.
that
Yeah, I got
situation.
no more options. Or like how I used to be like running around like crazy, and I'm like, shit, that place looks open. Let's go there.
Back when meals were cheap enough that you could do that and be like, "Hey, how bad can
Yes,
it be for $10?" And now like lunch is 35, and then
I
you can't really
know.
afford to do that
I
anymore.
know it's a different world, different world. So I want to get into Tracy, before we get into just specific items and where to find
Mhm.
them. Like
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
syrup and this and that and this stuff. Some
Right.
spices is these high end markets, these
Yeah.
emporiums. How do
Mhm.
they work? Because they can be a godsend. They're really nice.
They work under the principle that if you have enough money, you can get anything. Like,
Mhm.
you want cocaine, you want maple syrup, they do it all. That's these kind of places. I don't, because nowadays you can buy everything online. I don't really do
Mhm.
anything like that. It used to be Casa San Luisa. Uh, Geez, there was a really famous one in São Paulo that I can't remember the name of because I think it closed. I don't think they're around anymore.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
the most famous one I know is Casa Santa Luzia, yeah,
Luzia.
Luzia. And then there's this one that's kind of popular, which is a chain. It's called Saint Marche. You see
Saint
them a
Marche.
lot.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. There used to
yeah,
be more of them, but I think a lot of them have closed because people are buying everything online now. So you
yeah.
don't have
These are
that much of
restaurants.
you can find specific markets for Italian products. I know if you go to Bella Vista, there's a place where you can get good Italian imported stuff, including cheese and stuff. It's awesome. There are a lot of
Mhm.
Asian markets if you go to the specific neighborhood where that community has their neighborhoods. But like the fancy emporiums, I have to say I'm really out of touch with them because anything weird, I just buy online now. It's so much easier to do that. Or I go without. There are some things like we were talking about Marmite before. Um,
Mhm.
Root beer, unfortunately, I save that for when I travel because here it's just
Well,
not
you know
possible.
what? There was like a little phase where they were selling root beer here, so you can still
That
kind of
time has
find it in São
passed.
Paulo. That time has passed. I mean, if you go in some real deep corner of Liberdade, you can probably still find it.
I
Yeah,
think you got to get really lucky because all of those little
yeah.
places that used to every once in a while have a root beer in Liberdade, now they're so focused on selling to the K-pop kids that you're not going to
Oh,
find root beer there anymore, unfortunately.
yeah. Yeah,
But
go
other
ahead.
another place in terms of like finding things online, spices is what everybody is always asking about
Yes.
because like where do you find spices? You should not be buying spices or specialty flours or funky beans or anything like that. You should not be buying them at the supermarket, okay? The supermarket, if you're getting this crap, it's going to be stale, it's going to be expensive, you're going to pay too much, and it's probably not even going to be any good. You need to go to a place called a granel store, or just in general, if you're like searching on maps, look for a loja de produtos naturais,
Wait,
natural
wait.
stuff.
So
And
say
those
that
are the
again.
places
Say
that
that
are
again. A
called
granel.
a granel, loja a
Okay.
granel,
Okay.
which
Let
just
me
means
look
like
that
by
up.
weight or bulk, right?
Oh, I
And there are a
didn't
couple
know
chains
that.
of these places where you can start. There's a chain called Mundo Verde. There's another one called Biomundo. Fit Store is another one. These places they sell things like beans and lentils and chickpeas and stuff like that in bulk. They sell like whole, what is it, like brown rice and things like that.
Oh, like in a Marzen.
Yeah, like an armazém. So you
Okay.
can go to these places and they'll have that, but they also have spices generally. So if you want to get spices there,
Okay,
they're
cool.
going to be fresher, they're going to be ridiculously cheaper. Like back when I lived in the US, if you wanted to buy spices, you go to an Indian market or you go to a Chinese market or you go to a Latino market. You don't buy them in the supermarket because the prices are stupid. This is the same,
Oh, I
right?
got you.
So go to these places and you can buy 50 grams of cumin or you could buy 50 grams of something like that. And you can test it out and see if you like cooking with this stuff instead of like spending a lot of money on a little glass jar that's maybe you're gonna use it or not. These places are really good. And I have 3 links that I sent over to you, Phil. One was, and these are online places in case you don't have one of these stores where you live. Zona Cerealista Online is the big one, the
Oh,
classic
yeah,
one.
let me share that. Wait, Zona Serialista. What? One second, I got it here somewhere. I got a million pages open, guys. But keep talking while I'm looking for it.
So this is the biggest one, and this is the
Yeah,
store that is actually in São Paulo near the
there it
Mercado
is.
Municipal. There is the Zona Cerealista that is the place to buy all
Yeah.
this stuff, nuts and rice and peanut butter and things like that. And when I first came here 20 years ago, this was the place where I could find all these things. Now you can kind
Hmm.
of find them in pretty much any city at this kind of store. But if you can't, if you live out in the middle of nowhere and you want to get oat milk or you want to get gluten-free flour or if you want to get dried apricots, these are the places where you'll find them. So
Yeah.
this one's Zona Cerealista. There are 2 more, Emporio Rosa and Casa Pedro, and they're both
Okay.
just as
And
good.
Borio Rosa, we got right there. Ooh, those cheeses look delicious. And while we're going down this list here, guys, another place that I really like going to, although it depends which one, is the municipal markets because some of them are just like little
Definitely depends
tourist
on which
traps.
one.
Yeah, tourist traps.
Do not
Um,
buy fruit at the big market in São Paulo for Pete's sake because people get
yes.
scammed for hundreds of reais there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Don't let
guys,
them give you any
please.
samples. Don't do just like keep on walking through the fruit section, okay? Because that's the classic
Yes,
scam where they give you a sample and then they insist that you have to pay for it, and then the strawberries cost like $150. So my cousin
exactly.
fell for that.
Or go with somebody that's Brazilian. That's what I did my
Go
first
with
time. My
somebody who knows
friend,
more.
yes,
Maybe not just
Rebecca.
Brazilian. My cousin is Brazilian and she fell for it.
Oh no, that's look. You know what? It's good to go to that municipal market, guys, because it's nice to go at least once the Brazilian municipal just to see it, the São Paulo,
Yeah.
because it's a beautiful building. But have one of those sandwiches in there. Eat that. That's the one thing you want to pay for in
Yeah,
there, and
yeah. I
maybe
think
have
that's a
a
good
juice,
experience.
like a
Yeah.
nice juice,
Mm.
and you'll have a nice experience. Just walk around, see all the fruit and vegetables and stuff, but don't actually buy stuff. Is it-
If we ever, you know what, if we
yeah,
ever do a meetup in São Paulo, we should
yeah.
do it at the Mercado da Lapa because that
That's
market,
my favorite
that's
one.
the real one. And that's my favorite
Yeah,
too. It's the best.
yeah,
It's an old style city market, the way they used to
yes.
be before the
Just so you
municipal
know what
market
we're
got all
talking
fancy
about,
up.
guys. Let's take
I
a little
love this
journey
place.
here. So look at that. Looks like an old
Old
football
school.
stadium. Yeah, and it's not that pretty on the outside, guys. But once you get inside, look, it has a little bit of everything. It's tiny, but compared
You
to
want
the
to buy cow
picture,
feet, you want to buy canaries,
yeah,
you want to buy an imported Spanish
it's
ham,
really
you want to buy
nice.
herbs to cast a spell on your neighbor. They have everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's awesome.
And then if just to give this place some love, because it is a nice place to go. Just to look at the
Mm.
place, man.
It's
I
a
mean,
great
and
experience.
those stained glass windows. It's worth going there. Just
Yep.
go during the day, because at night, Pete told a
No,
story a couple
around
weeks
there?
back.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
Mm.
Krakolunja and him fighting the
Yeah.
crackheads, because that's near Lou's station, exactly where Pete got
Yeah, they've
jumped.
been moving them out in that direction lately.
Yeah,
It's
but look how big it is, and
it's
then when you get
beautiful.
inside, I like the sandwich I told you to guys get is Hawk, I believe is the name. I always get it wrong, but I think it's Hawk Sanduichi. What do you call it? It's mortadella, right?
Mortadella. Mhm. Which
Morta,
folks, I'm sorry, it's bologna, just so we know. Let's
yeah,
be clear.
bologna, but yes. Well,
But
it's
it's classic.
Hoka.
It's
Just think of it as.
it's the experience. It's like you go to Philly, you got to have a cheesesteak.
Yeah,
It's
gotta have a cheesesteak. You gotta have one of these Hoka ones right here. Look at the size of that thing, guys. It's
maybe bring
huge.
someone to split it with.
Yes, and we talked about this a couple weeks back. Tracy, is how the hot sauce isn't really that hot here in
Mhm.
Brazil in general, in São Paulo. And so I doused like this little bitch over here. I put so much on this sandwich and I bit into it, and my friend just was taking pictures of me crying. It's hot. So be careful. This one actually has some kick. It's delicious though. It's a really nice hot sauce. So yeah, that's an
Brazil can be
experience.
unpredictable with hot sauce. It used to be that
Yes.
hot sauce on the table was like you could get some in your eye and it wouldn't be a problem. Now every once in a while you find somebody who really likes peppers and then you can get some
Hmm.
serious hot sauce.
Yeah, and then the other thing I said you should do when you get there, have one of those mortadella and have one of these
Mm.
suco naturais. Oh my lord!
I
Yeah,
believe
yes.
if it hasn't moved, and I suspect it hasn't, if you ever go through the bus station in São Paulo, there is a juice place in the Chiete bus station where you can get
Mm.
a really good fruit juice for like practically next to nothing.
Oh, nice.
So worth
All
checking
right.
out.
But
Also, look
oh,
out for the crackheads, unfortunately, but that's São Paulo.
yes. Unfortunately, I think one of my favorite fruit juice places closed. It's actually on that same day that I beat up a crackhead and then got spotted by Justin Bieber. I was looking for my fruit juice place and it wasn't there anymore. It was called Banana
No,
Split right on the corner where Conjunto Nacional is. And I was like, no, because they made
no.
it a really nice juice. But hopefully it was just my mind playing
You know
tricks
what's
on me.
coming to that part of town?
What?
Michoud.
Starbucks?
No, well, all the Starbucks in the US are closing, so that means they'll
I
probably all
know.
end up here.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
there's a Chinese chain called Michoud that makes it's like ice cream and cold drinks and
Mm.
stuff like that. And they're opening the first Brazilian store in that Shopping Paulista.
Oh,
I
Pacho Paulista.
maybe it's Pacho. It's that big one that's on Paulista, and
Yeah.
it's cheap. That's like the drinks start at like $3 or something like that. So definitely
Mm.
keep your eyes open. But it's a big like the K-pop kids are really into it. So
Oh
maybe
God. Okay.
bring your
Well,
patience. Don't go on the weekend.
yes, and Liberdade has turned into K-pop. Like it's
We don't go
super,
there anymore.
super. No, dude, it's tough because it's like you try to just walk and it's like you're swarmed by these little people, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
what happened? So
Although
all
if I
the
can add something else with that,
yes.
we didn't say my name. My name is Miyake. I married into a Japanese family. I married my Japanese Brazilian husband when I was working in Japan. I learned to cook in Japan. We eat a lot of Asian food, and there are still a couple good Asian stores or Japanese stores, Japanese and Korean stores in Liberdade, but you have to buy online and pick it up because there's just no way that you can go into the stores to shop anymore because there are too
Mm.
many people there buying snacks and wearing kitty ears. So like if you're
Oh.
into Japanese stuff, there is a store called Towa, Towa, that does online purchases where you can just have them set aside and you send an Uber Flash to pick it up or whatever. A lot of these stores do it now. It's become prohibitive to go shopping. If we have to buy anything in that part of Liberdade now, we go at the time that they open. So like I'll be there next weekend and we'll go there at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. That's the only way you
I
can get into the stores anymore.
I get in and out of Toa in less than 15 minutes every time I'm there.
Oh, you must be really good with your elbows, sir.
Yes. But
Well,
when
I
you go
also
during the
lived in
week,
Asia for 6 years, so
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Look at this, guys. All these stores and stuff that Tracy is mentioning here, I was just kind of looking them up. They're all on Instagram, so you can find them
Mhm.
here, you know, so you can
And
get
most of them
more
sell on
information.
WhatsApp. Some of them also have like I can buy stuff. Toa for a while was selling on Shopee. I don't know if they still are, but you can find most of these. I cook a lot more Chinese stuff now. So actually, we go to the Chinese markets in Baixo Liberdade. So like you go to
Mm,
Toa, which is where the station is, and you kind of roll down the hill for 3 blocks, and that's the road that has the Chinese markets. So like if you're looking for Chinese groceries, there are some great Chinese grocery stores, but they're down at the bottom of Liberdade. So you
I
kind of have
got
to
you.
look around.
And by the way, Tracy's mentioning all these names, Liberdade, which we've talked about this neighborhood a lot on this show because it's a very famous neighborhood in São Paulo. Traditionally Japanese but began black
Yes,
neighborhood of
absolutely.
and now it's not even Japanese. Now it's just Asian. It's like, you have Korean, Chinese, Thai. You have everything. I was here when it was still just Japanese. Really, it was tough to even find like a Chinese restaurant there.
Yeah,
But it's changed a lot since
yeah.
then. But
And this, I'm really glad you said that because this is a big important thing about, I think, with Liberdade is this idea that they're removing a lot of the heritage. There are some really old historic churches. The Praça de Liberdade is Liberdade because that's where slaves were executed. This is a place where lots of history went down. And these
mhm,
old churches and capellas are kind of languishing. They wanted to turn them into a big old shopping mall, and that got
yes,
shot down by the historical preservation department. But there's an ancient church there, ancient. It's a very old historic church there that is also getting encroached upon, and the little buildings around it, little by little, are getting eaten away. And I really hope that Liberdade is not going to end up. They tried to change the name to Liberdade Japan. I don't know if they did that
yes, they
happen.
did
They
it. They
did.
did it. They did.
Jesus.
Yes.
It's a shame because there's a lot of really good history. Every once in a while in São Paulo, you can see tours, historical tours going through there, pointing out these capelas and what the historical things about this neighborhood. Oh, Liberdade Preta is good. Definitely worth checking out because it's not just the reason why that it became the Japanese neighborhood is that the Japanese weren't allowed to rent anywhere else. And so they were basically forced into this part of town. And then little by little, they got priced out. The Japanese are now elsewhere in other neighborhoods. The Koreans are elsewhere. And this is basically just a big old tourist playground now, which is a shame.
Yeah,
Did I say I wasn't going to get political? I'm sorry.
it's fine. No, what you're saying is perfectly fine. And we have Feira da Liberdade, which is the
Mhm.
feira that
It's
we're
like
talking
fried
about.
stuff. It's awesome.
And guys, you know what? Like again, it's worth going at least
It's worth
once. I
going.
mean, you're gonna fight the crowds. I mean, if you go early, you might beat the crowd. The crowd is usually really, really there, like 10 from like around 10 to 2, 3 o'clock. Because
Mm,
like Tracy said, tourists, that's when
yep.
the tourists wake up, they're hungover. They're like, oh, I heard somebody say Liberdade is cool to go to. So they're
Yeah.
getting there a little bit later. The locals get there early. So it's not gonna be like empty, but you can at least walk around if you get there around 7, 8, 9 o'clock. After that, good luck or go earlier in the week because I'm pretty sure it's. Let me see. Oh no, só de
So
domingos
domingo.
now. Oh no, before I used to have it on Saturday and Sunday. But
Mm.
there's like a mini version of this. Like you can, there's
There's
in that
enough
little.
restaurants and stuff open that you could go anytime and you don't have to be there
Yeah,
just for
any
the
day of the week. And that square, they have events there all the time and they open it up a little bit, I think, on Fridays or
Mm.
Saturdays. I'm sure they do, or they have something there. But yeah, this is the Feira de Liberdade that we've been talking about. Tracy, because we got to
Mm.
start wrapping up soon. I want to
I
talk one
know.
more
Okay.
topic with you, which I think is important, which is growing your own food, like
Growing your own
going
food.
about that,
Mhm.
because I
Okay,
know you
it's not
got your little
realistic
farm
for a
going.
lot of people because,
Yeah,
you live in an apartment for a long time. I did.
but
I live in a city, okay? I live
but
in a
but
suburb
but
town.
Tracy, before you
Yes.
go on, but let me tell you, I
Mm.
talked to a lot of people that are thinking of moving to Brazil, and
Yeah,
they're more adventurous. And there's more information now, and it's not like before, where it's like you have to move to Rio, you have to move to São Paulo. It's like people are
totally.
already making their first leap to this like 100,000 population city that they heard of. Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I'm gonna start from there because I got internet, I can work from home, I don't gotta worry.
Mhm.
So these options are more open now of people saying, "Yeah, I
Totally.
want to live off the land. I want to live off the grid. I want to be where Tracy is, on the farm or
Maybe not
wherever."
right here.
Yeah, yeah, maybe not exactly there, but
You
so
didn't put my location, did you?
no, we're all hiding. Like today in a
No.
group. So no, check this out, Tracy, before you go on, because today in this gringo group, whatever, somebody was like, "Tell us your favorite crystal blue beaches other than the famous ones in Rio or wherever." And I was about to type mine, and I was like, you know what?
No,
No,
don't.
yeah. I was like, fuck these motherfuckers. They're not gonna know. I'm trying to hide
No,
away. But anyway, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. Tell
no, but
us. Tell us.
seriously,
Go.
we're all totally off the rails now. Nowadays, I mean, seriously, everything online, you should if you can use
After
Instagram and you
11,
can use
anything
TikTok,
goes.
you can figure things out. So I see on Instagram there's a guy, and I believe the account is called Gringo das Ferramentas, and it's this, I don't know where the hell he's from, but his Portuguese is kind of sketchy. A farmer guy who's living in the South, and he's basically putting together a farm on his own. There are a lot of people doing this kind of stuff and making content, so you can get ideas like content, whether it's no matter where it is, you obviously have to take it with a grain of salt because you never know when you're seeing content whether it's real or not. It's been produced. Maybe they have a staff. Maybe they paid a lot of money. Maybe they imported
That
a
is
container
true.
full of stuff. You just never know. But it can be a good idea for you to see places or to people to reach out to. You can see. Ah, there you go. Bless his heart. Um, but he's farming. He's got animals. He plants. There is a whole right now. The idea of homesteading around the world is really, really popular because people are afraid about the economy. They're worried about food. They want to basically drop out of a society that's turned into a big friggin' mess. Uh,
Yes, yes, and yes.
right? I mean, I think we all feel the same way. And so, it's not realistic, I think, to think I'm going to be like raising my own chickens and cows and stuff like that. But it can be really fun to grow some stuff. So, like, you and your peppers, Phil, you got a bunch of peppers
Yes.
in pots that you have in your patio. You don't even have to have dirt where you live. You can
Yes.
do little things that are, it's good. It's good for your soul. It's good to get your hands dirty. And then,
Mhm.
plants are like pets. They don't yell at you. They don't get angry when you're home late. You water them
Yeah.
and they're happy to see you. So you know, it's a nice start.
It is. I mean, I did the dog thing. I love my little Fritz, miss some, but it's like that phase is
Hmm.
done, and I've become a plants person.
Yeah, plants are
Yes.
good. They're nice and quiet. They don't pee on the floor.
No, and you know what? And now on a serious note, I always had a fear of dogs, like a serious fear of dogs. Like I can get close to dogs. So having Fritz was like a very important step for me. Like love him to death because of
Mm.
that. Like he allowed me to connect more with animals
Yeah.
because I've never been connecting as much with animals. Like I respected them, Buddhist and everything, but I didn't
Uh-huh.
connect with them. So he helped me connect with animals. But my mom, as I've said a few times on the show, she was a real green thumb. She's the type that could take like a leaf, like literally just a leaf, and then like a week later you get this garden in the back. It's like, what the hell? She just had that power, right? And it's funny, I have these pictures of myself when I was little, and it's more like I think she was trying to take pictures of the plant. It's like, well, since you're here, just get in the shot,
Get
right?
behind the plant, kid.
Yes, exactly. No, I have a picture. I gotta show it one day on the show. It's so funny because it's literally like me under a flower pot. It looks like I have like a wig on. Like what the hell? But I'm trying to reconnect. Like I've always tried to connect with plants in that way. Like I connect with nature, but I've never been able to like grow plants and like actually harvest them and talk to them. So I'm like, I gotta connect with that, even just to connect with my mom, like that part of her. So I'm
That's a
doing
good
pretty
thing.
good. I'm learning. It's a learning curve, And I ask Tracy, I bug her all the time, like, Tracy, is it dying?
They say that you hit a certain age and either you become a bird person or a plant person. So
Yeah.
I guess you're a plant person.
Oh, wow. I'm becoming a plant person. Yeah. And I'm loving them. And I talk to them and I say hi to them and I love them. They're so cute. But anyway,
Plants
uh,
are awesome. Growing your own stuff is awesome.
mhm.
When you
And
depend on
eating your
growing
own
your own
stuff.
stuff, yeah, eating your own stuff is fabulous. When you
Yes.
depend on it to eat, then the shit gets real, really fast. Um,
Yeah,
when
that's
you
it.
have a harvest that fails, it gets to be more of a business. So like I have my farm, my mini farm. I have our lot is 20 meters by 7 meters. Okay, it's not a
Hmm.
huge plot, but we grow a really significant amount of food here. On the other hand, I also run a business and I have a family and my husband runs his own business. And so like we have a lot of things going on. And there are weeks when I need to choose, does the dog get a walk or do I work in the garden? So often the garden is the last priority and things get
Hmm.
neglected. And that's the year when, we don't get a lot of food from the garden. So it's kind of like we were saying before with cooking. Time is money, and you got to put the time in if you want to get the produce out. Unfortunately, there's no way around that. So, you kind of have to think about that. If you're really willing to put the time in, you can do really cool things. People are growing plants and growing food, like serious quantities of food, in bags of dirt, where you buy like from the
Mm-hmm.
garden center a bag of dirt and you plant in it. People do that, and they get good stuff. They grow sweet potatoes on their patios. People do that, and they actually do really well with that. But it's not even so much the space; it's the time and the amount of effort you want to put in. So that
Exactly.
and also getting political here, weather. The weather is getting more and more unpredictable. We had record heat here this year, and
Mm-hmm.
I subscribe to the farm forecast and the frost warnings and all that stuff that we have here in Paraná. It's a very agricultural place I live in. But the long-term forecast for weather this year, I had read that the summer was going to be extra hot and extra wet. And so what I planted this summer was specifically to deal with that. We have, if you are used to growing a garden somewhere else and you come to Brazil, the during colonial times when the Portuguese came here, they wrote letters back and they said, everything that you stick in the ground grows. It's like a miracle, which is really true to some extent. We have super
Mm.
fertile soils. On the other hand, you have never seen bugs like we have here. And
Oh yeah.
because we don't have a strong winter, the bugs
Yeah.
don't die in the winter. So like the bugs here are an extra level. You've never seen them before. They will come in and just eat the shit out of your house. So this
Mm-hmm.
is it's a whole different level here, and it takes a bit of time for you to get your footing, whether it's bugs or humidity or mold. We have a period here where it rains for like 2 months straight. And let me tell you, anything that you have is going to be growing mushrooms by the time that's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So you the weather here, as it's getting more unpredictable, you kind of have to really keep your wits about you, because we just had the hottest, wettest summer we've had in a long time. They're saying that next summer is going to be even worse, even hotter. And this winter is supposed to be one of the colder winters we've had. And
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to get a lot of rain down here, which is great for our power bills because we use hydroelectric power down here. So that means at least electricity will be cheap. But, really wet means that your plants are going to be more susceptible to mold and to pests. So, here it takes a couple of years to get your feet under you and understand what you need to do, and what grows here doesn't grow necessarily in other places. So when I was learning to grow plants, when I was just out of college, everybody grew tomatoes because that's what you grow in the summer. Tomatoes, they're easy, they make fruit easily, they're pretty. Here, tomatoes are like, just shoot me in the head. They're impossible because every animal here and every bug here wants to eat them. And when tomatoes are ripe, I just buy them because they're cheap. So my focus here is I grow things that are really hard to find. I grow Chinese greens, I grow long Chinese beans, I grow some Japanese produce, I grow Japanese herbs, I grow kale, which is really expensive and I really like to eat. I grow mulberries, I grow plums. I grow moringa, which is like, tea for silly white ladies who like expensive tea. I grow a lot of different herbs. I grow jabuticaba. I grow figs. I grow things I like to eat, but like I don't go nuts with things that are cheap and easy to find in the store because you have to preserve your mental health.
Yeah, I agree, and it seems like it's just stuff that you can grow that you can put on your food every once in a while. Like it's like Tracy's survival food,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, for us, we make a lot of Asian food, so I need to have scallions, green onions,
Mm-hmm.
garlic
Okay.
chives, fresh garlic greens,
Okay.
all those things I put into my dinner every day. Cilantro, I can't live without cilantro.
Oh yes,
And
that's a
I will die
100%.
on this hill if you don't like cilantro, Phil.
No, I love it, and it's not always easy to find. Um, um, Here's the cuentro, eh?
Yes, yes, it's good stuff.
Although apparently there's this whole thing here with like it's genetic. I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't know. But for
Yeah,
some
I
people,
think
it's
one
supposed to
in
taste like
20, twenty-five
soap,
percent
right?
of people taste soap, exactly. But
Yeah.
when I met my husband, he said the same thing. He was like, "No, no way, I can't eat it." And you know what? He started to eat it. It took a little bit of introduction. So
Look
you've
at
got
this,
these
guys.
awesome peppers, and then you have this poisonous as shit plant on the front left there. That's called a Diefenbachia. Don't eat it.
Oh, where is it? Where is it? Oh no, I'm
No,
not
no,
gonna eat
it's on the
that
right
one. Yeah,
side.
this one. This one here.
No, no, to the left, that one.
This
Here
one.
in Brazil, yep, here in Brazil, it's called
Oh
nomi.
yeah.
I think it's called nomi toque. I think.
Oh really?
It's the species name is Diefenbachia. Don't feed it to anybody, okay?
Oh my God. Okay.
Mm.
Don't eat it. Okay.
Well, I
Don't
mean,
eat
you're not
that.
eating your house plants, are you?
No.
No, good. Just checking.
We haven't reached that level yet. Although I have started doing a Watif thing, and rest in peace, Watif. But he used to have these similar to what we're doing, these live casts,
Mm.
and he talked a lot about stocking up food because you never know what
Mhm.
can happen here in Brazil. Especially like Tracy was saying at the beginning of the show, we've had a trucker strike before just because of
Yes.
Brazilian
Oh my
issues.
God.
Not even
Mhm.
because of world issues. And man, I mean, it doesn't get like Venezuela level, like the shelves are empty. Although it depends, because we're in São Paulo. Maybe if you're in the interior, it can get like that. But
Mhm.
I learned my lesson. I just bought a gallon of water, or a liter really
Mhm.
here, right? Whatever, 10 liters, however big the big jugs are. I
Yeah.
got some cans. I'm starting to stock up because I don't know. Things are kind of wacky in the world right now. I don't trust what's gonna you know if we'll make it to the end of the year without something majorly bad happening. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so look how red they get. I love growing
Yeah.
my little
Pretty.
peppers, and then I put them on my little tacos shit. But speaking
Lovely.
of food, look at this. Look at this. I stole a few shots here, Tracy. If you don't
Oh.
mind. This is all homemade.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, that
Yep.
looks delicious.
That
Look at
was
that.
my cilantro right on top. That's salad. I mean,
Yeah, no,
that's
but
cucumber.
okay, but it looks great. I mean, guys,
Now that
some
had
of
some
the
serious pepper on it. You would love that. That's Chinese pepper, Sichuan pepper.
Yeah, it
That's
looks
some serious
delicious.
pepper.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Like, this is stuff you can make here in Brazil, and because
Mhm.
I go wow. You know why? Because it looks nice, even if it's just a salad. But I really think there's people that come to Brazil and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna eat that weird salad that you have at the per kilo. That kind of stringy
Oh
lettuce.
no, no,
It's
no,
like,
no,
dude,
no.
no, there's like actual good ingredients here. You can make banging salads down here. Like, oh, here's
Yeah,
the
yeah, and
full
definitely,
shebang.
check out the food fairs because you can see what people are making with this stuff.
Hmm.
If you live in Brazil and you haven't had an acarajé, you're missing out. You got
Hmm.
to go and taste what people are cooking here because it's not just like the beans and the rice and the sad salad at the restaurant. There's so much out there. And if you haven't found
Yes.
something cool, you got to go look, expand your horizons, find out what other people are eating.
Yeah, because a lot of people eat this thing, the prato feito,
Mm-hmm.
the famous PF. And
Yeah,
it's like,
beans,
guys, okay,
rice,
this
and
is,
protein.
yeah, and there's a weird salad with this like very depressed lettuce. I love
Sad
lettuce so
salad.
much. It's a sad salad, guys. I mean, I love lettuce. I like Tracy back in the U.S. I used to actually just crunch into an iceberg, like, and
Oh,
just eat
that's
it raw.
something we do not grow. We don't grow lettuce. I don't
Yeah,
buy lettuce. I was really
yeah.
lucky when I went to university. I had a professor of agriculture who said that it was his mission to get rid of lettuce and replace it all with cabbage because lettuce was just a waste of
Oh
space.
no, I love it. Oh, he
Also,
and I
it
would not
takes
get
like a
along.
lot of agrotoxicals to produce your lettuce because again, here everything wants to eat lettuce. Also, if I could throw in a public service announcement, if you're
There we go.
buying produce here, leafies, whatever, you should wash it with some sort of
Oh,
something. Um,
yes. Oh, I'm so happy you
you
mentioned
want
that.
to
What
go
is that?
there? You
Agua,
want me to
agua
do it?
oxigenada. No, I mean, I'll just say that when I first got down here to Brazil, I was living with my friend Kimmy and her husband at the time, and
Maybe
I
not
thought it
that
was
kind.
weird
That's the
because
kind for doing your hair, buddy.
no, oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Down one, the blue ones. See the blue ones on the bottom?
This one.
There, that whole row. Um,
Yes, this one here.
why?
Yeah, and I thought it was
Because
so weird. He's like putting this
no.
lettuce in his water. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, you got to clean it up. So, but talk about it.
Why?
What's going on? Why is he
What did
doing
they
that?
tell you?
Oh, he just told me sometimes you got to just make sure all the bacteria, whatever's on it, is really off it, because not
Okay,
everything's always as
let's clear this
sanitary.
up because like
But tell us.
bacteria are everywhere. And by the way,
Yes.
if you're in a place in Brazil where you have a public water supply, as far as I can tell, if you have like a state or municipal water supply, it's chlorinated and it's good enough that it's not going to make you sick. If you're getting stuff from a well, it might be different, but for the most part in Brazil, we're well set for water. If you're using chlorinated water, it's going to wash off your bacteria. You're going to be fine. We do this because in Brazil, in most parts of Brazil, we have an invasive snail, an African snail that carries a parasite called a rat lungworm, and it can
Oh,
cause liver damage. And it's a very, very serious thing, and you do not want it because your liver is nice and you want to keep it so you can drink wine and Negronis. It's nice, right?
Like I'm doing right now.
Like my Negroni right here, exactly. You want to save your liver for important functions. So
Oh
that's
my
right.
God.
Yeah,
I never knew this. This is disgusting.
yeah.
Give me
So
nightmare
they're a
fuel.
parasite that is transmitted through snails and slugs, and we have a lot of them here.
No. Oh my
Sorry.
God. Wait, sorry, wait. Let me go back to
So
something nicer.
the
Let's look at the
the
pretty blue bottle again.
look at the pretty blue
Ah,
bottle.
look at
Okay,
this.
so the
Agua oxigenada. And
official,
please do not buy the one for your hair like I
don't
just
use the
did.
ones for your hair. If it's creamy, it's the wrong kind. It's liquid. I actually don't use this. I go with the farmer recommendation, which is a 3% bleach solution. 3%
Uh-huh.
in bleach is like, very little. You're talking about a liter of water and,
Mhm,
30 milliliters of bleach. It's not very much. I do
mhm.
that. I let it sit in the water for a couple of minutes. And by the way, I do this with any produce that comes out of my garden because we have a lot of snails.
Oh,
And
I
I don't
imagine.
think it's the same kind of snail, but I'm not taking the chance. So you do that, you soak it. And I remember the first time I saw that, I said, oh my God, they're using bleach on the food. This is fucked up. And then I did the research and went, oh, okay.
Yeah, and you don't taste any difference, guys.
Well,
I
I mean,
mean,
you rinse
I
it
don't.
afterwards. It's not like you're
Yeah,
drinking the bleach water.
yeah, exactly,
Soak it in
exactly.
the water for a couple of minutes. You'll notice that if there's any snails or slugs, they will come off.
No, have
Drain
you
it
ever
and
let
rinsing
me
again.
ask you a question, Tracy.
Hmm.
Is it okay to eat some insects on your food? And I asked this because I actually did that at one time because I
I've
went to a
eaten insects.
vegan restaurant called Apfel, one of my favorite here in São Paulo.
Vegans don't usually eat bugs.
Well,
Just
yeah, okay, vegetarian, vegan, apple. I just know there wasn't any meat there. The only meat was those little worms. But yeah, like as I'm getting the lettuce, speaking of which, I was going through the
mm.
lettuce. There's some stuff on it, and then the lady was like, "No, no, it's fine. It's natural." I was like, "Okay," and I just ate it.
Well, on the one hand, if you are finding bugs on the produce, it means that the produce hasn't been sprayed within an inch of its life, which is,
Hmm.
you know, a valid thing.
As
I mean,
organic as it gets. Yes.
it's organic. It's a good sign. I mean, it's kind of like, ugly produce. If it hasn't been sprayed and it's all super duper pretty, then, maybe it's a little, it's got less chemicals on it than you might have. And I'm not a big fan of any sort of spraying. I try to do what I can without it. If it's a little bug, I mean, I'm not the person who's going to be shrieking that there's a bug in my salad. Like, I'll take it out. If there's
Mhm.
a hair, I take it out. I try not to be like a princess
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
not like this. It wasn't nasty like this, guys. I was trying to find like a image of lettuce with a bug on it, but this is
Yeah, I mean,
disgusting.
this
It
is a
was
lot of
definitely,
bugs.
yeah, it was definitely not this. It was cute. I was like, oh, it's a cute little bug.
But like
And
Phil, I have eaten bugs where I lived in the part of Japan that was far from the ocean, and historically they didn't. If you were far from the ocean, you didn't have protein, and they ate bugs. They ate crickets, they ate grasshoppers, salamanders. One of the best meals I ever had was in Korea eating silkworms. That was amazing. So,
mm,
I don't know. I try
I'm
to keep an open mind.
I'm the same. And by the way, guys, if you're ever in São Paulo, this is a really good restaurant. And
I've
I
never
always
been to this one.
I always say the same thing. It's like my little marketing for them. I'm not a
Oh,
vegetarian and I love
mhm.
this place. I eat there whenever I can. The food is delicious.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yes, at full restaurant. They used to have one in Bella Sintra, but now they're down in Centro. They're definitely
Mm,
just down in Centro. Uh, Tracy,
yeah.
I think we're ready to wrap it up, my dear.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a whole lot about food, a lot of things. Guys, for those little, very specific items, like syrup, very quickly, Hershey's, the products that you're missing from home, you can usually get them at Sam's Club. There's Saint Marche, Pão de Açúcar now has them. Pão de Açúcar used to be kind of sort of like mid-range. Like it was always a
Mm,
little more expensive, but not like those elite markets. And then it kind of like
mhm.
gave another pump up, and you can find a lot of this stuff there now that you
And you
couldn't
can find it
before.
online. Definitely look online
Oh,
because
go
there are a lot of people
online.
selling it. It's so easy to find this stuff nowadays. You pay for
Yeah,
shipping, sure, but you'll find it. You'll find it out there. The only
you'll
things you won't
find it.
find is Marmite and Old Bay, unfortunately, and root beer.
And cereal. For whatever
And
reason, for
cereal.
cereal, Brazilians aren't big on their cereal. They're like three cereals here, and that's it.
Yeah.
which I miss. Anyway, guys, Tracy, as always, I mean, I'm always bugging you, but it's nice that you, come on my show and bug me.
I,
I was
I
trying to make that
always
sound
have to
pretty.
chat with
I
you.
was trying to do weave, speaking of Trump and everything, I was trying to weave my way back into something positive, but it didn't work.
It's hard nowadays, man.
It's hard. I've drunk too much of this
Ah,
Portuguese wine, guys. I'm drinking a good Portuguese wine, which is rare. Um, so yeah, that didn't come out nice, but I'm just happy that you're my friend, and I'm happy that I can bug you, and I'm happy that you come on when I ask you to, because you are a fountain of knowledge. I love talking to you. I just learned some stuff today, which is cool.
I love talking to people about food. I love talking to people about living in Brazil. I love living in Brazil. It's great. We're here to stay. I will have a look at the comments if folks are doing comments on YouTube. If you have any specific questions, I will have a look and see if I can respond, if that works.
Oh, that would be awesome. So I'll send you the actual YouTube link if I haven't already. I should have. I may have forgotten to.
I'm sure I can find it, or
Yeah.
I'll see it on your Instagram or whatever. And I will say, I will ask Phil. I sent Phil a brownie recipe, which is the best brownie recipe. It uses cocoa powder, which you should be able to get at one of these stores that you talked about before. It just uses that and butter, and it's easy. And if you want to make somebody love you forever, make these brownies.
All right.
You still have the link, right, Phil?
Yeah. Well,
If not, I'll put it in the chat again.
no, send it to me on WhatsApp. That's the best
Okay.
way that I can make sure I don't lose it. Okay.
I will do
Uh,
so.
all right, guys. It's time for me to put on my NPR voice and say thank you for listening to the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. And you can trust that I'll be here again next Monday. And I'm still deciding what show we're going to have, because there's a guy I really want to talk to who's got a really incredible story about this prosthetic leg that he got down here. And it's a really amazing story. I'm trying to get him on. But if I can't get him on, we may have that Sao Paulo versus Rio debate that we've been trying to get to. So Pete, be ready. We got to defend Sao Paulo heavy against some Cariocas. All right. So we'll see what's going to happen next week, but it's going to be a fun show either way, or inspirational at the very least. And that's it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's amazing to have you here with me. It really